Okay, so hello everybody. I'm Alex Kyriakidis. As you can say from my last name, originally I'm from Greece. Currently, I live in Amsterdam, and I am the founder of Vue School. At Vue School, we started in 2016, and over the last couple of years, we have worked hard trying to work with the greatest experts from the community to create educational material for all of the things Vue.js and the ecosystem. And over the years, we have produced over 1,000 lessons with over 50 courses. And we keep adding new lessons every single week for the last couple of years. In this talk today, I'll tell you what to love about Vue in 2024. And this talk covers more than 28 resources. So the state today of Vue is great. It's in a really good spot. And to give you the gist before we go into the more detailed presentation, today Vue.js is matured, and it is a quite popular framework. And even though there was a lot of conversations when Vue 3 went out and there was this transition from Vue.js 2 to Vue.js 3, Vue.js is still a very simple and easy to use framework, and arguably it has the smoothest learning curve. Vue.js also has an ever-growing ecosystem of libraries and tools, and there is literally a library for everything you might need to do with Vue. It has a great community, rich education available, and there is also an official certification program. So starting with the growth, and this is a picture from Evan's Vue presentation earlier in this year. Vue 3 usage almost tripled over last year, over 2022. So you can see how in January 2023, it has 3 times the downloads that it had in 2022. And nowadays, and I think this is quite impressive, there have been over 4 million websites that are built with Vue.js. And these websites, they include dozens of thousands of companies and sites around the world, but there are also some very big players like Wikipedia, Google, Adobe, Microsoft, NASA, and so on. So I'm sure you know like many of these companies, but you might not know that they use Vue.js either in their core platforms or into their side projects and features. Like, for example, Google is using it for their careers website, careers.google.com. And if you are using Vue.js DevTools, you will notice that recently it's been on fire. Like, it's very often that you open a website and you see that it's built with Vue.js. Like, especially in the Netherlands, I get this when I pay my phone bills, when I pay for taxes, when I go into the bank, like when I do groceries, like it's constantly like, I almost think it's broken sometimes. Like, yeah, I don't think so. And if you are not using Vue DevTools, then do yourself a favor. If you're a Vue developer, like this is a must-have tool. But maybe if you're not a Vue developer and you're going to try Vue at some point, have in mind to try the Vue DevTools. It's a great tool. It's a Chrome extension that allows you to change your data, test your components and stuff in the browser. So definitely recommend it. So the Vue.js ecosystem, like I said, it's now mature and stable. And there is libraries for a lot of different things. And this specific moment, like 2023 and going in 2024, is a good time because all of the libraries had a lot of time to migrate from Vue 2 to Vue 3. And also, they have taken advantage of all of the new features that have been introduced into the latest framework. Like there's hundreds of great libraries, and here I want to highlight some that I think that might be like either underrated or they are so big that it's a must-know. So starting, of course, with Nuxt. Nuxt is the largest meta framework on Vue.js, and it's really great. It's like it does a lot of the things out of the box for you, and it's tailored for building both single-page applications, server-side rendered apps, static site generation, and also has a very rich collection of modules. And some of the features that they highlight on the website is that you can do routing with layouts. It has features for data fetching, assets and style. It comes with great SEO and meta tags, which is important for Vue apps and sometimes a bit challenging to do for SPAs. And it has a lot of other goodies in there. So you can think of Nuxt for Vue as Laravel for PHP. Like it gives you all of the boilerplate and all of the functionality out of the box. And this is the modules website. It has a ton of modules. So depending on what you need to have on your Vue app, you can drop things from the module library. And as of recently, they also have a Nuxt DevTools, which is similar to Vue DevTools, but it's more rich. You can work with your pages, your components, see all of your modules. And it's a really good companion, and it's quite new, so they keep adding features quite often. Next library I will highlight is Pinia. Pinia is the official state management store for Vue.js. And it is simpler than Vuex, which was the recommendation for Vue.js 2. It is based on the composition API. It has support with DevTools, so you can do things like time travel. You can monitor your state mutations and all of the good stuff. It comes with TypeScript support, server-side rendering support, and it is the official replacement for Vuex in Vue 3. Next, I would highlight Quasar. Quasar is the enterprise-ready cross-platform Vue.js framework, and it is capable of building both web apps, either with server-side rendering, SPAs, and everything that you might want to build, even mobile apps. And it also has its own UI library. So you can think of Quasar as an alternative to all three, Nuxt.js, Vuetify, and Ionic. The next library is FormKit. And FormKit, as they advertise, it allows you to build Vue 3 forms 10 times faster. And it's a great library for working anything with forms, like both for data validation, but also for just spinning up a form. It has a lot of different ways of doing stuff. So here, for example, they have this form. You can see that every item is a FormKit component. It has the help and all of these details here. So you can see that the validation is required, and it's an email. So if you break this, then you will get the error that this is not OK. So you get all of this functionality with just one line, technically. And it's also very flexible. So here we have this select. And if you were to change this to make it like, OK, if I could type. But yeah, if you make this a checkbox, it would change on the fly. And then you can see also that the data is reactive in the bottom. So whatever you choose here, it will automatically reflect in your data. I don't know why my keyboard is doing this now until I want to type in Greek, but yeah. Anyways, you get the point. Next, Vue.use, and I think Vue.use is maybe the best library for Vue.js because it does a lot of the work that we, the developers, have to do repetitively and quite often. It includes a collection of over 200 functions for any app. And it's for things that you want to do that they have to do with a network or with a browser or with the state of the hardware. So if you want to build things like on click outside, like if you want to make drag and drop, if you want to use the local storage. So every time that you want to build something that you feel that other developers might also need that feature, make sure that you search on Vue.use, because it's very likely that they do have a function for that, and you can drop in the composable and you can use it directly instead of having to care about how the browser API works under the hood. Awesome. Next, I have Prime Vue, which calls itself the most complete UI suite for Vue.js. I think it's pretty cool. It has over 80 components, and it has a variety of the things that you can build, dashboards or e-commerce or a lot of different stuff like date pickers, toggles, and it's quite pretty by default. But it's also quite customizable, and that's one thing I like about Prime Vue, that this is their own theme, the Prime one. But if you want it, you can use Material Design. You just use that theme. You can use Bootstrap, and it even has more like default themes, or you can build your own. So quite customizable, like very rich in functionality, and it's completely free. Then another UI framework that I recommend, especially if you're working with e-commerce, is the Storefront UI, which is a design system and UI library for e-commerce. And it comes with templates and pieces like this. So this is a complete category page of products with pagination and all of this stuff. And you can get the Vue components and the code from the library. And you will also have the reactivity and everything you would need from for an e-commerce front end. And as you see on the left, it has pages like checkout, error, like cart details, and so on. What happened? Okay. Next one on my list is Capacitor, which I like to call the new Cordova. And Capacitor is a cross-platform native runtime for web apps. And what this means is that it allows you to take your web app and compile it for another platform, like, for example, for iOS and Android. What I really like about Capacitor is that it is so simple. So all you have to do is to drop it in your app, then you will choose the platforms you need, and you can directly compile your application for iOS and Android, and then you can ship it in the corresponding stores for your users to download and install like a normal application. Okay, like I said, there's a lot of libraries that I would like to highlight, but yeah, I can only fit so much. But some others that are worth mentioning if you're working with Vue.js are Vue i18, which is an internationalization plugin for Vue.js, and it is great for building multilingual applications. Then Vuetify is the largest Vue material component library, quite popular, and also has a lot of components for building dashboard apps. Trust.js is great for creating 3D experiences. It's using 3D.js under the hood. Nuxt UI is a new UI library for modern web apps that it's brought also by the team that create Nuxt, of course. Ionic, the mobile SDK for the web. Vuefire is the official Firebase binding for Vue.js. Cypress is not Vue.js specific, but it is great use for end-to-end testing Vue.js applications, the same as Playwright. And Historua is a new way to write stories. It's similar to Storybook, but its API is very similar to the Vue.js API, so you can have the same syntax almost that you do for your components, but doing for your stories. Okay. So the next chapter for Vue.js that it excels is education. And this is very important because having education, rich resources, and ability to keep up and master the framework are, of course, key factors in order to be a successful developer and building great software. And Vue.js has been excelling in education since the beginning. It's by default, it's by nature an easy to learn and easy to use framework. And nowadays there is excellent content available from a lot of different platforms and creators, and it has an amazing official documentation. And this is also how Vue.js initially became popular. Back even from Vue 1, there was the documentation was great, it was very simple to use, and a lot of developers and companies chose to work with Vue.js because it had such a smooth learning curve. It was easy to put junior developers on the job, or for backend developers to also get to work with the front end. There is also this way on the guides now to learn Vue.js interactively. It's available on Vue.js org/tutorial, where you can choose if you want to learn with the options or the composition API, and you can try out Vue.js and yeah, learn it as you coding. So if you're starting with Vue, or if you want to learn some specific concepts, you can check this out on Vue.js.org. Next, Vue.js is one of the few frameworks that there is a lot of platforms dedicated to teaching the framework and the ecosystem. And here I'm highlighting the largest ones, which are, of course, Vue School and Vue Mastery, which are both dedicated to teaching Vue.js. They have lessons on the full ecosystem and keep releasing lessons every week. So this is a great way for keeping up with latest both changes, but also libraries and so on. And then there is Mastering Nuxt, which is dedicated to the Nuxt platform specifically, and Mastering Pinia, which is for Pinia and for state management patterns and more advanced stuff. Great. So to tell you some more about Vue School, at Vue School we do dev training through courses, tutorials, and workshops. And some of our latest courses, just to highlight some, to give you an idea, are the TypeScript with Vue.js 3, Material UI with Utify, content sites with Astro and Vue.js, how to build AI chatbots with Vue.js and GPT-4, and common Vue mistakes and how to avoid. And over the years, we have created over 100 free tutorials on all of the things, again, on Vue.js and ecosystems that developers need. Here I also have some as a reference. You can always learn Vue.js for free from so many different sources and so many different ways. And if you are not a Vue School subscriber, you are in luck today, because we are hosting a free weekend that happens to be tomorrow and on Sunday. So you can sign up for the free weekend and you can access all of the premium material, all of the courses, including the Vue.js 3 masterclass over the next 2 days. Is as much as you can watch. Awesome. And in the next chapter, I will touch base on the Vue.js community. And Vue.js has a very large Discord server. It's called the Vue Land, where it has tens of thousands of developers in there. And it's a great place if you want to get help, socialize with other Vue developers, share what you're building, talk about jobs. And you can find it on chat.vue.js.org. And there is also a lot of Vue.js conferences nowadays, which is a great way for meeting Vue developers in person and also getting to meet the Vue core team and the other industry leaders in person and hear the news from first hand. Here I'm highlighting some of the last ones. The dates are from 2023, but most of them, they have similar dates, and they will announce the same for 2024. And Vue Amsterdam have already announced theirs, that it will be taking place in February 28 and 29 in 2024. There is also great online conferences in the Vue.js ecosystem, and highlighting some of the biggest ones are Vue.js Nation, Vue.js Forge, that it is an interactive conference where participants, they both watch the talks, but also are building alongside the experts their own thing. So after 2 days, you end up also having built an application on get to learn and get experience with some of the specific tools. And lastly, Nuxt Nation, that is a conference dedicated to the Nuxt framework and all of the Nuxt ecosystem that takes place every year in October. And the non-conferences are great because they are completely free and they allow everybody from all over the world to join, because not everybody can travel or they can manage to go to an event. So having this in the community is great. And over the last year, there have been over 60,000 people who joined one of the online Vue conferences. In the next category, I want to touch base a bit on the news, because again, for being successful with the technology, it's important that you are able to keep up with what's happening, how things evolve, and new stuff that are introduced. Vue.js provides a couple of good ways of keeping up with the developments, including the official Vue.js blog, some newsletters, and of course on Twitter. There is the official Vue.js blog on blog.vue.js.org, where the Vue core team and the creator of Vue.js will write often. And if there is a new version or if there is a big change, the Vue.js blog will be the first place that they will announce that. Vue.js doesn't have an official newsletter, but they do recommend some of the community newsletters as resources. To highlight a couple, Vue.js feed is a portal where they list new libraries and new versions and stuff that are happening in the Vue community. Michael Thyssen shares weekly tips every week, and he's a great Vue educator and developer. And lastly, the Vue.js developers newsletter is the popular email that is being sent every Tuesday since February 2017. Moving on, a great thing for the Vue.js community nowadays is the job market, because back in the days when Vue.js was starting, this was one of the hot discussion points. But today, with 4 million websites, you can imagine that there is a lot of demand for Vue developers. And there is this platform that is called Vuejobs.com, where they list, I think they have a new job opening almost every day. So if you're looking for Vue jobs or if you're looking for Vue developers, this is a great platform to check out. And on Vue School, we also have something for hiring. It's kind of the reversed way of Vue jobs, where our developers, they will go in, they will create a profile, like they put in the skill set, and then companies can search for developers to connect. So they can say, for example, I need somebody who knows Vue, Nuxt, Vuex, GraphQL, and TypeScript, and they can find the people and connect there. Great. And the next one is totally different subject from what we've been seeing so far, and it's about an awesome feature of the composition API. And this is not necessarily new for next year, but it is new since Vue 3. And that awesomeness is that you can use the composition API in non-Vue applications. So you might wonder why? Why would you want to use composition API if you are not using Vue.js? And there is a couple of good reasons, especially if you're working in an agency or if you're a consultant and you get to work with a lot of different code bases. And often you have to work with like a dinosaur code base, or you have to work with plain JavaScript. So in these cases, it is great that you can drop in the Vue composition API, and you can get reactivity and all of the good features from Vue without technically being a Vue application. So to deepen a bit on that, on why you would want to use the composition API in a non-Vue application, first of all, it's better than plain JavaScript. You have all of the reactivity, all of the watches, and all of the core functionality. You can bring in your composables. So if you are already using Vue.js somewhere, you can bring in your files, you can copy-paste even your code, and you can have it in any new application. You can use the Vue ecosystem and your favorite libraries, so you could even import your state management solution. You can use the Vue use utilities. So technically, you can do everything you could do in a Vue app, but inside a non-Vue app, which is pretty cool. It's also a great way to begin migration. So if you have an old application or any application that you are looking to migrate to Vue.js, it's great that you can drop in the composition API. You can build some of the new features with that, or you can start migrating some of the others, and you can have the two running in parallel in the same code base for a while. And all in all, you can keep the same mindset when you change between apps, and you don't have to think how reactivity works differently in each one of your different products. So you will build faster, and you will have more fun. Closing, I will highlight the official certification program, which is pretty new. It launched in September, and there are already a couple of hundred certified Vue developers. It is available on certification.vuejs.org, And the goal of the official certification program is to provide reassurance to developers and give them a way to like feel confident in the skill set that we know Vue.js good enough, and also a way to prove to employers that we can get certified and use the framework efficiently. And at the same time, it provides guarantees to employers that a given developer knows how to use the framework efficiently. So this hopefully will help the Vue developers get better jobs and higher pay. The official Vue certification program is a partnership of Vue School and Vue, and it includes an online exam with theory, coding challenges, and best practices. And all of the multiple choice questions and the code challenges are one by one reviewed by the creator of the Vue.js framework, Evan You, in order to make sure that the certification program is 100% on point. Yeah, that's my talk. If you want to learn more about Vue certification, or if you want to discuss about Vue training, you can find us at the Vue School booth here at the conference. And you can also grab awesome community stickers and our Vue School t-shirt. Thank you.